it may be probably difficult for us to remember the spirit in us. We have been projecting ourselves as an individual consisting of body, mind, intellect, name, power, position. This is the level with which we are dealing with men and matters right from the moment we get up till we retire to bed. Though we have been blessed with many occasions, many opportunities to associate ourselves with spirituality, many of us, or most of us, or all of us have some fair idea about it. Still, during our waking hours, in our dealings, we have to check up whether we are in a position to remember that, a spiritual dimension in us. So to facilitate us to get ourselves rooted in that, the reality who is indwelling in all, provided through chosen instruments to make us aware of the presence of the Spirit within us. When, as we said, when we deal with men and matters, we deal with the me and mine level. Everybody has got an idea about me and mine. From that level, we start doing it. But before that me and mine came into its active life, we were there. And who is that we? It cannot be objectified. It can be realized or experienced only through reflection, contemplation, and meditation. To facilitate the mind to take to contemplative life, and then to feel his presence and then come out of it and to see him everywhere, we need such periodical exercises. And that is why we have been provided this wonderful opportunity to be in a most conducive atmosphere, where there are least disturbance or zero disturbance for our practice or exercise. Let us try to jointly, collectively explore during these 1.5 days, about which we have an idea, but we will make it more and more, get clarification on it, so that it will slowly percolate into our thoughts, words and deeds. Param Pujya Papa Swami Ramdas of Anandashram, from where we come, he talks about spirituality. What is spirituality? What does spirituality mean? That is the question. That which relates to the Spirit and the experience of the Spirit is spirituality. Because spirit and matter are two different things. Our body is material, and the spirit dwelling in this body is spiritual. So whatever relates to the spirit within us is spiritual. The body is material. We know that we have a body. When we close our eyes, we can see our body. That means the knower of the body is different from the body. First step. when we open and deal with others, we hardly bring this idea into us. But in a pause moment, in an atmosphere like this, we can try to separate ourselves from the body. The first step is to see that we have a body, we are not the body. It is so close to us, the moment we transact with the world outside, we identify with the body. So the first step is to know body is material and the spirit dwelling in this body is spiritual. We must think, feel and realize that we are not merely bodies, but we are immortal spirit. Many people go with the impression that they are only the visible appearance, that is the body made up of the 5 elements. It is not so. There is the spirit within us. It is that spirit makes us walk, talk and do everything. Now for instance, people think when they give and receive with their hands that they are doing these movements and these actions themselves, as if they got an independent power to do these things. The body. There are so many movements and changes that are going on within the body, such as the action of the digestive organs, the blood circulation, the growth of the hair. Here we can also add the heart beats, breathing goes on. The me and mine, does it have any role in it? Can we tell the heart to stop for a moment? Can we control the breathing? Now we had our food. Inside the factory is on. To separate what we have eaten, and it separates what is needed for the body, what is needed for the blood, what is needed for the bone. And after segregating it and channelizing to these 3 avenues, whatever is left out, we immediately go to the washroom and purge it out. No? Do we have any role? Think about it. That's why very particular, it is, we are not intellectual. It is reflective, contemplative and meditative affair. In this atmosphere it is easy. In our own home it may not be easy. So many disturbances will be there. Here we can coolly, calmly reflect over it. Because we can feel the pulse. Hey, stop. It will not stop. If it stops, you know what will happen. We are in a position to do like this because the circulation of the blood is there. Right from the head to the toe. So Papa explains, there are so many movements and changes that are going on within this body, such as the action of the digestive organs, the blood circulation, the growth of the hair. We cannot say these things are done by me. Can we say I am doing these things? Who is responsible for these movements with us? The same power which is responsible for these inner movements is responsible also for our outer movements. All our 5 sense organs are there. 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of action. All these are activated by the power of something. We moved from our dining room to here. We walked. Normally we take everything as granted. It doesn't get registered in our mind. But now we will start thinking, how does the leg stop? Another one comes. The balancing goes on by itself. Now we are hearing, we are seeing. That's why he said, the same power which is responsible for this inner movement is also responsible for our outer movements. Walking, talking, eating, anything. If that power is not there, organs are there. We have seen dead bodies. So Papa is slowly trying to make us understand the presence of the spirit within us. We see the wind blow outside again. The sun giving light, the trees grow, the birds sing on the trees, so many movements and changes going round about us. They are not separate movements caused by any power individual in them, working accidentally or by chance, or they say due to the concourse of atoms or some such things. They explain away in order to deny the existence of spiritual power that permeates the entire universe and is responsible for all movements and changes in it. How does the earth rotate? Everything, we keep on reflecting. Even now the sunlight is there. Available to all. Which power? So many planets are there in the atmosphere. Nobody clashes, There is an orderliness. How does it come? So Papa is slowly trying to make our attention inside first, then outside. The air which we breathe in helps us to take in the oxygen, and then automatically, without any consultation, without any effort on our part, the excess of carbon dioxide that is within us is taken out. You might be knowing that to certain people, when their lung is affected, oxygen is given. But again the struggle, gasping will be there because this excess of carbon dioxide, it doesn't go by itself. As breathing cannot be done, they are giving oxygen. So at a particular time, they use some other thing by which the excess of carbon dioxide is also taken out. Now for all of us freely is going on, Think about it. We are not even aware. So the air that we breathe in does this automatically in us. The oxygen goes in, excess of carbon dioxide goes out. We don't do anything. We have no hand in it. Who is having that power? Papa is drawing our attention to it. That all-pervading power, it is that makes act, talk, do everything. If we recognize this universal power and know that that power is responsible for what we do, then our ego will disappear and we will be one with the universal life and universal truth, and we will be supremely happy and free. This is probably an intellectual assimilation now for us. That all-pervading power, we are trying to understand. The earth rotates, the sun giving light and power, the air, the earth, the water. We have not made anything. The space, Now slowly we are trying to understand, if these five elements are not there, we cannot exist. Inside, if these activities are not going on, I don't exist. So there is a power inside and outside. That power is called the spirit, the all-pervading spirit. The all-pervading spirit is the indwelling spirit also, about which we are not aware. Because our identification with the body-mind-intellect complex is so strong that it doesn't feel like plumbing deep within and to know the presence of the spirit. So long as this ego in us, that is the sense of individuality, preventing us to know the original source in us, which makes us feel that we are everything ourselves, we are caught in a trap and we can never be happy. So we have been asked to resign ourselves to the will of God. Will is nothing but the power of God active in no. When women say God's will, we think it is coming from outside. To make it clear, Papa says, will is nothing but the power of God active in nature, active in ourselves. By surrendering ourselves to the divine power and will, we will release within us that supreme bliss and peace which is locked up. Through this, the ego and the individual will disappear. Disappear in the sense not that we will not have sense of individuality. The sense of individuality will continue to exist as long as it is designed. But at the same time, so now, till now, we have been identifying with the sense of individuality. Now, when masters from their experience plumbed deep within and placed before us, we slowly first try to understand intellectually and make an effort to become aware of the presence and continue to live as an individual. Then the agency of action, I am the doer, I am the sufferer, I am the enjoyer, I am the owner, I am the possessor, that will go. Because I know that I exist only because of that power. That's why he said, through this, the ego and the individual will disappear. People have asked him often, Papa never says me, so he always addresses himself as third person. So people have asked him often, what about the free will? And how does it stand in relation to the divine will? Really, there is no free will. Very difficult for us to understand. But it is the truth. Because now we know when the spirit is not there. There is only divine will working everywhere. It's a mistake to think that we have got any power to do anything. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is a shloka in which God says, Lord Krishna, it is my will and power that prevails through the entire earth. And to know this means myself, capital S. Causing all movements in it, all changes in it. And so, he is at the inception, at the growth of things, at the destruction of things. It is one power that does all these things in the universe. And if we submit to that power and know that that power is active in us, then we will be freed from the ego. And that moment we realize that we are the unchanging, immortal, all-pervading, spiritual and universal truth and spirit. To know that we are that spirit is to know Him, God, and this is spirituality. Another way of looking at it is, now this is the base. We can call it as the life force, which is easy force. Because we have seen, when the life ebbs away, it becomes inert immediately we are thinking about burial or cremation, no? Think about it. So, easy way to understand the spirit, in Vedantic language it is called the Atman. The universal spirit is called the Brahman. The spirit in the individual is called the Atman. So Papa used to say, life is the expression of the Atman. Though seemingly two, they are one. In order to amplify this, one doctor has brought out in a simple language which we can understand. Remember, our inner intelligence has greater knowledge than the doctors in the world put together. For doctors can only treat, whereas healing is from within. Dr. Krishnan Nair, who was in Kanyangarh, who has been associating with the ashram from Papa's days, he used to come. He passed away only in 2000. Every day night he used to come, and Puja Swamiji and the doctor will have their dinner together. We all will be there. So doctor used to say, we only treat, he cures. Because we are guided by certain principles, certain knowledge, and we keep on trying. And when the patient says, I don't get, again we try. Then we come to know that we are only passing on certain things. We call it as treatment, but really curing is done by him. That is why the same medicine for the same problem for everybody doesn't suit. No? The greatest creation and the greatest gift of all in this human body, and the immense intelligence that is reposed within it, it is nature's most wonderful work of art. Our heart beats about 1 lakh times a day. Are we aware? Think. 1 lakh times a day. Normally we say 70, in a minute. 70 into 60 into 24. Without our knowing. Only when some pain comes, we become aware, rush to the doctor, or the doctor is brought and he says, I will take a cardiogram, ECG, and then he will declare you had a mild attack. Until such time we have never recognized. So our heart beats about 1 lakh times a day, about 35 million times a year. It pumps 6 liters of blood through 1,20,000 kilometers of blood vessels in a day. 1,20,000 kilometers. You may have to convert it to miles. 8 kilometers means 5 miles. In 1 second, we are producing 1.2 millions of red blood cells to replace an equal number that die. 1.2 millions of red blood cells in 1 second. Our digestive and metabolic system have the remarkable ability to transform the food we eat into blood, bone and body structure. The air which we breathe but cannot see contains oxygen which is exchanged for the excess of carbon dioxide inside and then thrown out without us even knowing about it. Every time we get a cut or a wound, within seconds there is a tremendous amount of activity in and around the wound to seal and heal it. The defense system in us, inside us, is greater than the defense system of any country. When we go near this, hey, terrible. Sensitivity, it's a wonderful vigilance factor in us. The defense system inside us is greater than the defense system of any country. It is greater and more foolproof than the security system around the president of the greatest nation of the nations. The wisdom, next one is very, very touching. The wisdom necessary to fertilize an egg and turn into a fully grown man or woman is beyond our intelligence. We will come to that later after this. At the helm of this pinnacle of perfection is the brain, overseeing all these miraculous activities. Now let us look at the other side of ourselves. Imagine yourself typing a letter while simultaneously watching a TV program and suddenly you receive a phone call. How well can you perform all these three functions? Definitely not with any high level of efficiency, and that is only three activities. While our own inner intelligence is performing trillions of perfectly coordinated, harmonious activities every moment. This oxygen going inside, excess of carbon dioxide, a digestive system, everything, hearing, seeing, all the five sense organs, how they don't trespass each other. Trillions. All this clearly demonstrates beyond doubt that there are two sides to ourselves. Do we see them? Do we agree with this? Let us call them the body and the spirit, or man and God. We started with spirituality. So now we are provided with sufficient details, verifiable details. All of us, somebody has told us, okay, but these are all can be verified by us, should be verified by us. Otherwise it becomes a knowledge. We go out, we forget. But suppose we reflect, we spend some time holding the pulse, watching the heart, and breathing, knowingly breathing, inhaling, exhaling. And with this background, we try to go within, and the digestions, and so many other activities. How am I in a position to do like this? Think like that. So that it doesn't become a knowledge, but it becomes a verified knowledge. That means an experience. This is very important. Papa used to say that everything should be verified, and then only it becomes ours. Otherwise it is somebody. Somebody has said, okay, we need a spiritual preceptor. No doubt about it. Yes, we forgot to mention that. Who is called Guru in Indian terms. The spiritual preceptor who has perceived the spirit, who has experienced the spirit. We have not done anything. We did not know that water contains H2O. Somebody had done the research, scientist. We did not know that the air that we breathe is containing oxygen. A scientist had done and told us. Similarly, like material scientists have unearthed so many things that are behind this matter, spiritual scientists have unearthed these and placed before us. They are called the spiritual preceptor or gurus. They are placing before us. Okay, if we have just heard, and if we try to intellectually understand and go, no, it will not become a reality. It has to percolate. Then only it will have its impact. on our thoughts, words, deeds, and all our life's activities. So all this clearly demonstrates beyond doubt that there are two sides in ourselves. Do we see them? That's why this question. Do we agree with this? When can we agree? Only when it makes us. Otherwise we will say, yes, doctor said, papa said, mother said. It's all right. That is all at a bodily level, mental level, intellectual level. But if it has to become at the spiritual level, experiential learning is a must, not academic learning. So he says, do you agree? Let us call them the body and the spirit, or man and God. Once we become aware of them, we come to believe in them, soon we develop faith in them. Subsequently, we develop a method to use them for our benefit, and that is all this book about. And we move to the next one. That's all. Then, remember, we have the power within us to create. Our children are a living proof of it. The body and the spirit can be compared to the bulb and electricity. The bulb by itself can produce no light. Neither can electricity by itself give light. But when electricity runs through the bulb, light is produced. The bulb can be seen, whereas electricity cannot be seen. But it can be experienced. The same holds true for the body and the spirit. When electricity passes through the bulb, light is produced. When the spirit expresses through the body, the outcome is life. The very same electricity may pass through various types of gadgets to produce different results. Similarly, spirit expressing itself through man, animal and plant gives rise to the many living creatures found in the universe. To put it grossly, wherever we see life, we see the spirit in action. Not that the spirit is not there in another. That's why he used the word spirit in action. The other one is spirit in dormant stage. Or we could say life is God, or God is life and everything else. Because who else but He can perform millions of right actions every moment in each living organism? This body is like a television set. When plugged into the mains, the television comes alive. But when there is no electricity, it remains a mere box. Just like when the spirit is in the body, there is life, and when it leaves it, although all the physical parts are present in the body, is useless, we bury it or burn it at the earliest. For the television to function, it must be well tuned to the source. For the better tuned it is, the clearer will be the picture and voice. An ill-tuned television is just a noise-producing box. It's more of a nuisance and an irritant than a source of pleasure. When we are not well connected to our cosmic source and not in tune with the infinite, we, like confused children, having lost our way and forgotten our source, keep mindlessly roaming, not knowing our true selves and our real value. Having lost connection with our Creator, we tend to fight and struggle for a lifetime. If only we were to sit quietly for a while, contemplate and follow our inner voice, it would guide and reconnect us to our cosmic source, and then life would become one beautiful and enjoyable journey. When we identify ourselves with the Spirit in us, we identify ourselves with God. The Spirit in all human beings and in all living beings is the same. This way, we get connected and related to every soul in the earth. There is no one else here but me. But when we identify ourselves with the body, then we become different from everyone. Then there are you and me, two different people. This illusion is the beginning of all tragedies. It is the cause of all the wars that have been fought so far. It is this ignorance that is the root cause of all evil. Imagine a dog put into a small room which has mirrors covering all the four walls, the roof, the floor. On seeing thousands of its own images in the mirror, out of its illusion and ignorance, the dog barks and bites itself ceaselessly till it ultimately drops dead, fighting with its own images. This is exactly what happens to us when we identify ourselves with the body. We are fighting and hurting our own selves out of ignorance and illusion. The moment we realize the truth, everything automatically falls into place, and we find that the thousands of images around us are our own, and we smile and embrace them in eternal love. Where there is deep love, words are virtually unnecessary, as most of the communication is through feelings, which is the language of the soul. This leads us to the conclusion that when we forgive someone, we forgive ourselves. When we hurt someone, we hurt ourselves. When we love someone, we love ourselves. When we condemn someone, we condemn ourselves. When we are angry with someone, or want to hurt someone, or shout at, or criticize someone, just ponder what we are really actually doing. We are doing all of the above to no one else but ourselves. Life is eternal. There is only one of us here. The day we realize this, the day we totally believe in it, the day we have unflinching faith in it, we stop struggling and start living. On that day, our need for everything else ends. We then move through life as if everyone and everything is a reflection of ourselves, and we feel one with everyone and that everything belongs to one. Now, in order to amplify more about it, Papa used to say, one should always go to one's own origin and the origin of everything. Normally, when we ask, what is your origin? We immediately say our parents. Is it not? True. They are the origin, but they are the relative origin. Because, why do we say relative? They are also born to their parents. They are also born to their parents. When we sow a seed of a vegetable or a flower, today what we eat? Watermelon, for example. All of us had watermelon. No? It comes from the seed. We cannot say this particular, in my compound, what I have grown is the source. It is a relative source. But the seed has come from somewhere, Similarly, our parents have got their parents. Their parents got their parents. So they can't be the original source. When we try to go beyond 2 or 3, our intellect pleads its inability. But at the same time, we know there should be the ultimate seed. Sorry, what do you call it? First seed. Swami Chinmayanji Maharaj used to say, uncaused cause. The first effect, which did not have any cause. Intellect cannot agree now. But the truth is that we are there, no? So we must have come from somewhere. So now at least intellectually we agree that there is an ultimate, there is a first cause, original cause. That is called the spirit. Uncaused cause. And that uncaused cause gave us this life. And in the 9.5 months in our mother's womb, who gave us these 200 odd organs, beautiful organs? Did we do anything? Two eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, head. From here to here, how many joints? And inside, heart, lungs, pancreas, liver, unimaginable, kidney. Who gave? And this after when this was almost in the primary state, I came out. Did I bring anything? Please think over this. As mothers you can understand, as gents we can only first understand. You can experience. Because you have seen the child coming. And as a child I would not have brought anything because I have seen children. Suppose the closest one delivers, immediately we go to the hospital and the nurse brings the child. Then we see that nothing. So nothing. We also did not bring anything. But to survive, we need all these 5 elements, First thing is air we need, water to drink, earth to exist, space to move about, 98.4 degree temperature to keep us alive. And we need sun, so many things, Then when I start growing, I started, I need lot of creature comforts also. I did not do anything for any of the vegetables that I enjoy. I did not do anything for the fruits I eat. I did not enjoy anything, any vegetables, in any form. It was all done by that power before my coming. And the creature comforts, one by one. Now we can say whatever requisites whatever we need. As soon as we get up, we need even to lie down, a cot, bed, bedspread, pillow, building, electricity, brush, paste, soap, wash basin, commode, heatables, and then chappal, socks, dress, language. We have not done anything. Through selected instruments, the same power prompted to bring out one by one. And I am enjoying everything. I am unaware of who has given, while I enjoy. Please think. This spiritual retreat offers an opportunity for us to dissect the personality, number one, to sift the spirit and matter, and to become aware of the relevance of the spirit in us which is responsible for my life and all that I enjoy now. I did not recognize or become aware of it. Why? The me and mine started building. Think about it. When we deal with men and matters, we become unaware. Even otherwise we become unaware. But suppose we set apart some time in a day to think deeply about it. And a program like this offers us an opportunity to imbibe this, because here we are in undisturbed atmosphere. A lot of opportunities are provided to us now by him to assimilate and absorb these things deeply in us, the effect of which will remain to some extent. When anything is going on, we will immediately become in the subconscious stage, we will become aware. But for the spirit, this is, but for him. Even these words are now coming because of him. Even now the words are being heard because of him. Even every one of us feels the beingness, the I amness, because of him. So that means our origin. So far we started only from an image put up by our mind. We have never understood that this is the base. Our substratum. So when we undertake to spirituality, the spirituality opens up so many avenues by which we try to understand the source of all our sources. Now, agreed, it is at the intellectual level. But every one of us will try to bring out some method by which this intellectual knowledge becomes an experiential knowledge. Each one can adopt any method, because this is a revelation given to us by those who have scaled the heights. Otherwise we would not know. That is why we revere gurus, Just like we salute all the scientists, so that we should keep on thinking about it. Not thinking, deeply contemplating. So Papa says, try to enter into the mysterious origin of your and the world life. To know who you are in reality is the real quest. To arrive at this truth, you have to, by a systematized process of thought and discipline, transcend all human limitations set by the body, mind, intellect, and then, embarking on the realm of the spirit, realize your immortal, changeless, blissful nature. This constitutes spirituality. The one aspiration of all beings is for liberation and peace. And Papa says, a self-created, very strong wall of separation shuts the individual from the view and experience of the immortal realm. And this wall is the individual sense or ego. The eradication of the ego sense only befits the individual for achievement of the loftiest perfection of the transcendent truth. Now he is bringing out some examples. As the dam obstructs the free flow of the stream, as a clog within the flute permits not the outpouring of melodious notes, as an ill-tuned stringed instrument cannot produce charming music, as the dimmed glass does not lend itself to the reflection of light through it, so the ego with which an individual is obsessed is the one hindrance to the spontaneous revealment of the indwelling power and joy. Remove the dam and you allow the waters of the stream with all its pristine purity to flow in a sparkling current. Empty the flute of its clogged matter. You play upon it to produce a celestial melody. Tune the instrument and you draw from it the most entrancing music. Clean the glass. You permit the light to pass through it with a glorious brilliance. Similarly, eliminate the ego sense from your life, and that instant you liberate life to realize its oneness with the immortal truth, its oneness with the entire universe, its oneness with the infinite power, its oneness with the everlasting joy. So now we had some idea about it. Now think over it, and then you can, now there should be an interactive session, I forgot to mention. It is not somebody sitting there and talking, or reading out or culling out some proportion. Only through an interaction, this plumbing deep within, absorption, everything goes on, assimilation goes on. So far whatever we have shared, on that, whatever that touches and kindles in you, please try to come forward. That means we are all trying to pool our entire efforts to go to the source of all sources. Anything on what we have shared?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, if, say for example, that someone sees, you said at the beginning, a person can project themselves, body, mind, heart, and then at the end of what you said that he or she can see him or herself as a reflection. The question is, if a person puts forward this reflection, but the person, him or herself, is not 100% pure, then the reflection that comes back is not pure. So the question is, then what?
We have to become pure, no?
Become pure, that's what you said?
He said, just now Papa said, remove the clog. So we have to impose, through a systematized process of thought and discipline, we try. You are absolutely right. At the moment it is difficult because the me and mine is very strong. The me and mind refuses to recognize the underlying spirit behind it. So unless we subject ourselves to some discipline, we will not be able to understand that. It's only a knowledge. And from that knowledge level, when we start reacting, we will not be able to. The otherness will always be there. So we are now trying to understand the real me in me, then only I will be able to connect myself properly with the rest of the creation. Until such time, the confusion will be there. But there should be some discipline by which we try to go. First of all, we should be convinced that there is a spirit and matter. Are we? That is the question. Are we agreeing that there is a spirit and the matter?
Are we agreeing?
Yeah.
The agreement is spirit and matter are the same, are one. Even though Papa Ramdas says they're two, but in fact they're one.
Yeah.
Have we understood?
Yes.
That is, intellectually. Then if we have understood, we will slowly go through it and then becomes an experience. That is why those who have scaled the heights, in all their thoughts, words and deeds, this is reflected. What is reflected? Absence of otherness. They were able to stretch themselves. We are also stretching ourselves to the loved ones. A small, our family members, children, relations, friends, those who have helped us, we remember them with gratitude. We know that. We don't know that we are stretching ourselves. But this stretching process is inherent in us. So now through these spiritual efforts, we are trying to reach out to as many of His creation as possible. Then to finally become one. Straight away we cannot become one with that. We have started with our family, with our household articles. We try to keep it up. We have got a vehicle. We try to maintain it. So like that, our love is given to, when something is affected, we are affected. So we try to understand the meaning of love, that is stretching ourselves. That process is inherent in us, but it is limited. Now our effort is to make it unlimited. How to do that? Each one has to find out. Some clues they have given. In ashram, Nam Seva Dhyan. Each Mahatma, each spiritual preceptor brought out his own experience and placed it before us. So, first of all, we should be convinced that there is spirit and matter. I am not unaware of it. I am unaware of it. I want to become aware of it. Behind my every thought, every word, every deed, is that clear? The Master's teachings help us a lot. They are giving us the different facets so that one facet will get aligned to us. We are placing before everybody all these different facets so that one factor, one aspect, one presentation, one approach will get aligned to us. If that fusion takes place, then the whole purpose of sitting here is served. It is by the power of the Spirit that our life is activated in its manifold expressions. In the classroom, hospital, office, marketplace, factory, field, as well as in temple, church and mosque, we should tune ourselves with the Spirit. So it is not to be reserved only at a particular time in a particular place. First we do that. We choose a particular place, just like we went to the school, no? Throughout our life we are not in the school. Throughout our life we are not in the education institution. Then we come out. Whatever we have learned, we try to translate it into our reality, improve our expertise, skill, intelligence. So similarly, this a temple, mosque or any spiritual center or a master or an ashram gives us some clues. Rest of the things we have to do it by ourselves. So first of all we are asking ourselves whether we recognize beyond this me and mine. We have to recognize that beyond the exterior dynamics of the body and mind, there is within man the spirit which is immortal. So the whole spiritual retreat is based upon this inquiry, self-inquiry. And for that a quiet mind is necessary, not a turbulent mind. That will disallow us, deny us. So that is why when we chant this Ram, any name of God, any tune, the mind gets slowly tuned and becomes sober, passive, receptive. Just like when you sow the seed, before sowing the seed, you can throw the seed. It might sprout, it might not sprout. Even if it sprouts, it might die. But when you do the loosening of the soil, applying it a little bit of manure, and then sow it, mulch it, water it, it sprouts. So we would have casually heard something. No. This 1.5 days we are trying to loosen the soil. We are trying to put in as many inputs as possible for it to grow. The seed should break itself, Spiritual masters have given us this wonderful idea. They are sowing the seed in our heart now. But it has to sprout. The moment we go out of the room, suppose we don't nurture it, just like the seed, that also will not. 2 days you don't water it in this hot summer, it will die. So, but the moment you plant, and until it sprouts or until it flowers, you keep on watching it, nurturing it, nursing it, then it will produce the result. Similarly, they are now sowing this food for thought in us from body. And we have to now develop it. That is what is called the disciplines. It can be in the form of glorifying that power. It can be in the form of experiencing its presence in the stillness. It can be in the form of expressing love. Love means absence of otherness. It can be in the form of whole-souled, focused attention, which brings out excellence in whatever we do. There are so many methods. Inward journey as well as our outward activity. Papa used to say, the inner beauty should reveal itself in our outer contact. Inner beauty means the awareness of the spirit within us. It should reveal in our outer contact. There are so many methods. Not only Papa, all masters have given in so many ways. So whichever suits us, we accept. But we should not neglect this. It is not a course, an academic exercise. It is really that matters our very life. How to improve the quality of our life. We may be satisfied with the present life, probably. To some, we may not be satisfied. But for those who feel satisfied, they can improve the quality. For those who are not satisfied, they can try to become how to make myself satisfied. So somebody used to ask us, why should we know all these things? You can still improve your quality, you know. You don't want to be a clerk in a company. You don't want to become the CEO. No? So you can bring in. God has invested us with a lot of potentialities, creativity, everything is there. So to improve the quality, for those who feel relatively satisfied with the present system, scheme of things, those who are not, they are trying to find the answer also. In both ways, this is a must. That is why spiritual science, as somebody rightly put it, improves the standard of life, whereas material science improves the standard of living. Both should go hand in hand. They are the two sides of the same coin. Nothing is to be belittled. We need both. At the moment, we have given more importance for material science. Unknowingly, unwittingly, we have not applied sufficiently on the spiritual science. So now God, seeing us, He has provided, motivated Lariji and Keitama to organize this. And He is seated in all of you to bring hope from different places. And He made us to come from Ananda Ashram. And He provided all these materials. He did not say just do that. They have provided all the tools, clues, guidance, everything. Now all of us have to make use of it and somehow either to improve the quality or to get an answer to some of the fundamental questions. Anything more for today?
So, if all is one, why does Papa say matter and spirit are two? Is it like you say just two sides of the same coin?
All are one, that we can say only when we reach that stage, you know. So long as the mind works to understand the mind, because there is a body, mind, intellect, equipment, there is a spirit within us. So that's why we said we close our eyes and try to find first. We can separate ourselves from the body, okay? You see now? My face, my belly, my hand, my leg, my shirt, I cannot be the shirt. My hand, I cannot be the mind. My belly, I cannot be the belly. So my body, I cannot be the body. Then good thoughts, bad thoughts, destructive thoughts, constructive thoughts. How am I? Who is labeling it? If I am the thought, how can I label? So there is somebody labeling it. Like that we try to go within. So until such time we reach the top, summit, to easily understand and progress towards that, we first dissect, divide the one homogeneous whole into two, matter and spirit. Ultimately, spirit and matter are one, they are declared. Then, anything else?
I have one more
Tomorrow?
one more question.
One more question.
Very good.
After all is said and done, after we look, we dissect, it's happening right here now. As you go through this, a lot of questions are dissipating. So the question is, at what point surrender?
I asked that question to Swami Satchidananda. Do you know what he said?
Are we to go to PhD straight away now?
Yes, I will tell you.
Are we to go to PhD now?
Doctorate level.
Surrender is the last.
The last.
Because it is easy to say surrender. Unless and until the me and mine knows its hollowness, that it owes its origin to that power, surrender will become only an expression. Papa calls it, surrender is not verbal assertion. What comes in the way of one's achieving is the ego sense. Therefore, ours is to surrender our little I to the cosmic I. Relative life to the absolute life. In other words, we have, Papa's another word, bombshell. We have to stand on the ashes of our cremated ego. Because only when it is cremated, it will not get up. Wonderful expression.
Yeah.
Each and every word is pregnant with profound truth. We have to apply our mind. You see, in other words, we have to stand on the ashes of our own cremated ego. Surrender is not a verbal assertion. It is not a mental acceptance, but a state of consciousness. At the moment, the words are coming because of him. That is the state of consciousness. That is that is PhD, no? Doctor of Philosophy. See, you complete your school exam education, then you move to the college education, then postgraduate, then afterwards there is one more, no? PhD. Don't you have it here? Doctorate. Doctorate in everything.
Yeah.
They bring out a new innovative idea. They take to 2-3 years. They will have a guide, and they do that. And that innovative idea, they work upon it. It is their own. Intuitively it comes. And they make a thesis. And there will be a board of judges who will hear this, who will go through this. Because it is adding to our knowledge, our needs. That is called PhD. Doctor of Philosophy. So our friend directly wants to go to PhD.
That is correct.
Words back in. Mother's words back in.
Agreed, we must have the destination in our mind. Then only we will be moving. When am I going to surrender? Please, make me to surrender. For that also I need you. Swami Ramtirtha's words, Papa used to often quote, I remember you, O Lord, because you remembered me first. Even to remember him, he has to be there. So similarly, to reach the state of surrender, he should help us. The puny me and mine cannot do that. Because so long as it is there, the surrender cannot be there. So it has to become, that is why Ramadas, he said, he, Das of Ram, when he was fired with this spiritual aspiration, and when he went through the spiritual discipline, a stage came when he intuitively felt that he should leave everything, lock, stock and barrel. And then, he was prompted to go to a place from where he was staying. Till such time he was known as Vittal Rao. Then when he reached that place, a river was there, one of the holy rivers. There immediately he was prompted to offer the white clothes, take on to this ochre robe, and everything whatever he was hugging as he is, that also he left. And he also dropped his name. And he assumed a new name, Ramdas. Ram stands for this spirit. He defines it as subtle and mysterious power. So when the surrender took place, at the same time the sense of individuality continues to exist as an embodied self. So he said, Das of Ram. Das means servant of Ram. Servant of that spirit. And then he started functioning. So you are right, we should praise that, but we keep on praying, along with whatever discipline he facilitates us or prompts us to take up. He says, before he took to this, O Ram, he addresses that power as Ram. O Ram, when thy slave finds thee at once so powerful and so loving, why do you say so powerful and so loving? Even though we have not recognized his presence, he has not left us, We have not said thanks to him. You gave us his 200 odd organs, you provided everything through Mother Nature, you provided everything through society, but we have never acknowledged him. But he has not left us. He doesn't stand on any formality. I gave you so much, but even you are not telling me once, He did not say that. That's why he said, you are so loving. And that he who trusts thee can be sure of true peace and happiness. Why should he not throw himself entirely on thy mercy, which can be possible only by giving up everything he called mine? Thou art all in all to thy slave. Thou art the sole protector in the world. Men are deluded when they declare, I do this, I do that, this is mine, that is mine. All, O Ram, is thine. All things are done by thee alone. Thy slave's one prayer to thee is to take him under thy complete guidance and remove his I-ness. This is the powerful message he gives. So our spiritual discipline can be put in a capsule form, removing I-ness. I have been provided with everything, including the expression. A life you gave me. You provided everything from outside. You gave me the intelligence to coordinate everything. At the same time, you put a curtain hiding yourself. I am not aware of your existence. And you now made me know that I is that curtain. The sense of individuality. Not the individuality, don't confuse. Individuality will continue to remain as long as it is designed to exist. But the sense of individuality which prohibits, which prevents, which denies us the awareness of that indwelling spirit. So by spiritual discipline, by spiritual retreat, what we have been now prompted is, try to locate this. Try to locate me. And then you act as an individual. In whatever field I have placed you, as a family man, as a professional, as a member of the society. You don't have to run away from anything. Because he is there every time. Whether I am a man or woman, whether I am literate or illiterate, whether I am employed or unemployed, whether I am rich or poor, he is there now. So we have to recognize this. That's why he said, beyond and beneath everything, we should know that there is that power. So, as a part of our first session, this is the solemn seed of thought he has given to us. Tomorrow morning when we meet, let us do some digging inside and try to see that the seed is properly sown. We don't neglect it. We don't become unaware of it. And let us see whether it kindles any other thought in us. It will, no doubt about it. Because of his kindness, because of his grace, he has taken up this fundamental substratum point on the first day itself. What is spirituality? He made us understand. And slowly he took us to the source of all sources. And then, the main roadblock. And what are we to do? And through him, the ultimate destination is also, is to become one with it. Before we close, one more facet Papa used to say that we will share. There are 4 steps in the spiritual journey, according to him. One is to feel the nearness. So far I only feel I am, this individuality. So we must feel his nearness. He is there inside us. So that is, I do some discipline by which I become aware of it. Nearness. The second stage is to become aware of his presence. Though not on a permanent basis, at least a glimpse. And then to see him in everywhere. And finally to become one with him. Nearness, presence, seeing in others, finally becoming one with him. These are the 4 stages Papa says from his experience. So at least now in this first session, we will try to intensely pray to him to make us feel the nearness of him. Nearness means the relevance of him, relevance of him. We have not realized his presence, okay, doesn't matter. At least we have found now, when we touch this, tuck, 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 the nearness. When we breathe, we feel the nearness. We cannot see the digestive process that is taking place, but at least we can know the blood circulation, Like that, so many methods through which we try to feel his nearness, and then that will lead us to the next stage, his presence, which will lead us to seeing, if it is happening, in everybody it is happening, it should be happening like that only. And finally to become one with him. Now you will be given the quotation of most revered Mother Hamilton's words of wisdom. So you will take it with you. With this background you will go through, not once or twice. Keep on. Repetitive performance alone has taught us everything. And whatever we have learned now, right from our alphabets, repetitively doing it again and again and again and again, not for learning by heart, but to go through the theme, because sufficient background has been given now. And this quotation is very, very touching. God breathed life into man, and that very life which he breathed into you is his very self. Do you not know that He is there within you every moment. On the throne of your consciousness, on the altar of your heart. It is He who speaks to you, He who guides you, He who directs you, He who gives you the thoughts you think, He who clothes you, feeds you, make it possible for you to have the intelligence and energy to do whatever you want to do. He and He alone. So they have taken the printout. It will be distributed. As many times as possible we try to go through it. Pause. After going through it, pause. Again you want some aspect. Again read another aspect, another aspect, another aspect. We will be able to move at least some. Though not an inch, at least a part of an inch. That inch can become feet tomorrow. That is the only way. There is no shortcut. There is no other shortcut. It has to be done by oneself. So see, you look here, the way in which it has been done, the quotation and whatever he made us to think about it. It is relevant. Everybody got? We will now experiment with 3 Ramnams or 5 Ramnams and what is meant by Ramnam chanting. Papa used to say when we chant, initially we chant, to get ourselves habituated to chanting, to develop an affinity for chanting, to somehow make it a part of our life. Okay? The next stage comes that we are chanting the name of one who is within us, who is making me to chant. I am chanting the name of Ram, who is within us and who is making me to chant. So with that background, tomorrow the chanting will take. And then, after some time, the chanting stops. When the chanting stops, mind will not keep quiet. So in order to see that the mind is disciplined, it is better to chant the name mentally, from the vocal to the mental chanting. Even when the mind goes out, immediately open the eyes and restart. That's all. So that is called meditation in the ashram. Meditative chanting. Then a stage will come when both Papa was able to club it together. He said ceaseless chanting of the name side by side with contemplating on the indwelling and all-pervading reality. That may be a tall order for us now. So we can do one thing. After the verbal chanting, vocal chanting, we will try for mental chanting. In mental chanting, the sound will not come, the lip and tongue will not move, but we will chant, we will try to hear. When that process is on, we will be blessed with one at least for a trice, that we know that we are chanting, and the question rises. The mind again brings up this question, who is knowing and who is chanting? Suddenly we find the chanting stops. So we get a glimpse into what we are discussing, the spirit, Just like the doctor said, electricity is not palpable, it cannot be seen, but the light we can see. Similarly, the subtle and mysterious power Ram cannot be seen, but it can be felt and experienced. So we get a glimpse of that through chanting and stopping the chanting, transforming into mental chanting, allowing the witness witnessing the chanting. And that is called witness consciousness. And that is the another form of the indwelling spirit. So now we will have 5 times Ram Nam, and we will try for this mental repetition also. When we lead, you mentally repeat. Then you repeat. I will mentally go through that and then see what is happening inside. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai.